I used to believe the most important conversations were the ones you could safely put off, the kind you'd have later, when life finally calmed down and you could give them the attention they deserved. It took me a long time to understand that later is not something life promises you. My name is Eli. I'm 83 years old. And there's one conversation I kept postponing for most of my life, convinced it would still be there when I was ready for it. For many years, I stayed busy in ways that felt responsible. I worked hard, built a career, became dependable, respected, useful. I told myself I was doing it for my family, for stability, for the future. And in some ways, that was true. We were comfortable. Our children had opportunities. From the outside, our life looked steady and well put together. But inside our home, something quieter was happening. My wife, Anna, was patient in a way that doesn't make noise. She didn't demand attention. She hoped for it. She would bring things up gently, usually at the end of a long day when I was tired and already thinking ahead. She'd say, "We should talk sometime," or, "There's something I've been wanting to tell you." And I would nod, tell her we would talk soon, when things weren't so hectic. Things were always hectic. What she wanted to talk about wasn't money or schedules or the children. It was about how alone she sometimes felt, even when we were sitting in the same room. I sensed it, of course. You can't share a life with someone for decades and not feel when something is missing. But I convinced myself that what mattered most was providing, keeping everything running, staying focused. I believed stability could make up for absence, and I was wrong about that. Over time, we settled into a rhythm that worked on the surface. I worked late. I traveled. I carried stress home without meaning to. Anna carried the emotional weight quietly. She became very good at not asking too much from me, and I became very good at not noticing how much she was holding back. There were moments when the conversation almost happened. Late at night, long drives, rare weekends when work stayed away. I would feel the urge to ask, to really listen, to open something I knew had been closed too long. But then something would interrupt, or I'd tell myself it wasn't the right moment, that serious talks could wait until life felt less demanding. What I didn't see was that avoiding the conversation was already shaping our life more than having it ever would. The years passed quietly that way. The children grew up. My career slowed down. Anna grew calmer, not distant, but careful, as if she had learned where not to lean anymore. I mistook her quiet for peace. I told myself that if something truly needed to be said, she would insist. That was an unfair thing to believe. When Anna became ill, it wasn't sudden, but it was faster than we expected. Sitting beside her in the hospital, everything I had postponed felt heavy and urgent. I wanted to ask her how she really felt all those years. I wanted to hear what she needed from me, and whether she felt loved in the ways that mattered most to her. By the time I found the courage to begin that conversation, she no longer had the strength to carry it with me. She passed away on a quiet morning, holding my hand. There were no final speeches, no neat closing of unfinished thoughts. Just a look she gave me, full of love, and something else I still don't have a word for. Maybe understanding, maybe acceptance. After she was gone, the silence changed. It wasn't the busy silence of a full life anymore. It was empty, and it gave me all the time I once believed I was working toward. That's when the weight of the postponed conversation truly settled in. I replayed the moments when she had opened the door just enough, and I chose not to walk through. I began to understand that the real cost of my ambition wasn't the long hours or missed dinners. It was the slow loss of closeness. Being present in the same space is not the same as being present with someone. I was there for many years, but often my mind was elsewhere, planning, striving, worrying about what came next. Now, living alone, I sometimes talk to her out loud. I tell her the things I should have said when she could still hear them. I admit the fears I didn't know how to share, and the gratitude I assumed she out. At 83, what I've learned is simple, though it took me a lifetime to see it. Love doesn't wait for the perfect moment. Conversations don't get easier with time. Most of the time, they grow heavier, weighed down by everything left unsaid. If you're listening to this and there's a conversation you keep putting off, someone you plan to really hear once life slows down, I hope you hear this gently. Life doesn't slow down on its own. You have to choose to slow down inside it. I thought success would protect the people I loved. I see now that what they needed most was not my constant effort, but my attention. And attention can only be given in the moment you're living. I don't share this to burden you with regret. I share it as a quiet truth learned late. Sit with the people you love. Ask what you're afraid to ask. Listen without rushing to solve anything. The conversations you think can wait are often the ones holding everything together. I learned that too late for myself. I hope you don't have to.